Okay, just take a second. Things have changed. This lack of shelves is temporary, so it's okay. So yeah, I painted my room. It is currently white, like really white, and I love it. I feel like I'm in an egg, and it's great. Today I'm gonna do my September haul, even though it's October. This is the smallest haul you've seen from me in the past couple months, so yes. I'll start off with an Amazon haul that I did like probably at the end of August. And I got 4 books from Amazon. They were all paperbacks. 2 of them I've already read, so I'll start off with those. This first book I read as a library book and loved it. So I wanted to get it in actual form to put on my shelf. And that book is The Day Before by Lisa Schroeder. This is absolutely one of the best books I've read. It's written in verse, so it only took me like 2 hours to read. I'm a slow reader, but it's so good. It's about a girl who has a very hard life, and so one day she just decides to ignore everyone and just go to the beach, and she meets a guy, and he kind of convinces her that her life is worth keeping, and oh shit. The next book that is one of my favorite books in the entire world that got a cover change, so I rebought it, is The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I adore this book, so when I saw it had a new cover, I was like, The Sky is Everywhere is about a girl named Lennon whose sister dies, and it's her just coping with her emotions, and there's like a really rocky relationship between her sister's now ex-boyfriend and a new guy that moves to town, and it's an extremely, extremely character-driven story, so the plot synopsis isn't like amazing, but just trust me, it is amazing. I know a ton of people have read I'll Give You the Sun, so yeah, if you read I'll Give You the Sun and you loved it, read this one too. It's not as good, but it's a very close second. And the 2 books I got from Amazon that I haven't read before, this first one is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. This is the one book in the entire book sphere that I was like, I'm never going to read that book. And I told myself that over and over and over, because this book is about incest, and every time I thought about it, I was like, nope, can't do it. But since then, I have heard nothing but good things. My really good friend Katie from Cat Skywriter 24 read this, and she was just Snapchatting me her sobbing over it, and I was like, okay. I've kind of moved on from that opinion of this book, and now I'm really curious. So let's see how this goes. I'm really excited to read it. And the next book is part of a really growing in popularity duology. This is Where She Went by Gail Forman. I read If I Stay several years ago and hated it. Then I reread it because of the movie coming out and liked it. I'm still not a huge fan of the series, so the only reason I bought this is because I hear it gets better. This is a companion novel to the first one, set in Adam's perspective, and I hear it's better, and I loved Gail Forman's other series, Just One Day, and the second book is also a companion from the guy's perspective, and I didn't like that one as much as the first one, but I think it was a great duology, and I just really want to read this because I don't want to have If I Stay alone on my shelf, because I feel like it's just, I've only read half the story, so I wanted to finish the duology because this is really short. I can read this really quickly, and I think Gail Forman's writing is worth a shot. I got a handful of books for a review this month. The first book I got is The Young Elites. Wow, I almost forgot. Okay. No matter how many times I try and say a synopsis on this, it always gets really muddled and I don't know what I'm talking about. It sounds really cliche. It's like a fantasy setting and a disease had come through and wiped a population out. I'm not really even completely sure what it's about. It's Marie Lu, so I'm excited to read it. I just have one complaint about the cover. It looks like one of those non-finalized covers. Like, you know how City of Heavenly Fire had the whole Who Will Survive? That looks like one of these. There's like nothing on it except a sky and a rusty sword. The second book I got for review this month is Rooms by Lauren Oliver. When HarperCollins contacted me asking if I wanted to read this, I nearly had a heart attack. This sounds very spooky for Halloween time. It's about a house that is haunted, and I don't know if the ghosts tell this story or if it's in third person, but I think it's gonna be a perfect October read. This is on my October TBR, and I'm really excited to read this, so thank you, HarperCollins, if any of you HarperCollinsians are watching this. And the last book I have for review, which I would read for fun anyway, I was planning on buying this book until Penguin said they would send it to me, and I was like, ugh, bless. That is The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. This is from the Fifth Wave series. I loved the first book so much, and so whenever this one was coming out, I was just stoked to, 1, get it in the mail, and 2, review it. So I have not started it yet. I have a couple, but I've just hit myself in the face. I have a couple books I need to finish before getting to this one, but I am so anxious. I want to read it so badly. If anything, I'm gonna read this book because Cassie and Evan Walker, whoo. And then this month, I went to Half Price Books with my father and I got classics. So I have to get a ton of books for school this year because they changed the curriculum, because typically when I read stuff for school, my sister had already owned the book because she's 2 years older than me, so I wouldn't have to buy that book. But this year they're not doing the same book, so I had to re-buy like every book that we're reading. And so the first book that I had to buy is Cried the Beloved Country by Alan Payton. I've already finished this book. We read it last month. I thought it was okay. You'll hear about it in my wrap-up, but it's basically about apartheid in South Africa and just dealing with love and fear. That's what all this is about, so yeah. The next book I got, I mentioned in a Friday Reads a couple weeks ago. I just dropped it. This is The Tempest by Shakespeare, and I said in my Friday Reads, I was like, hey, comment down below if you know why I'm reading this, and everyone got the right answer. This is the play that Warner's Tattoo comes from. Here it is. It's page 14, line 213. Hell is empty. Oh, that's some pretty crusty nail polish. Hell is empty and all the devils are here. Is it devils or demons? Devils. Okay, oh, and by the way, that one's not for school. That's for my enjoyment. I probably should have specified that. Anyway, these next two are for school. And this one is Hamlet by Shakespeare. We have to read Othello and Hamlet, as well as some of his other sonnets for class, and I believe this is the one that says, to be or not to be, that is the question. Honestly, I don't have a problem with reading Shakespeare, I just need a lot of time to do it, and I don't think school gives us that time, so I may or may not end up reading this completely through. I might have to look up, well, I know I'm gonna look up some Spark Notes, but hopefully I'll be able to read this front to back. The last book that I'm reading for English is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. I absolutely adore this cover. I've never seen this cover before, and I think it's really, really neat. It has deckled edges. It has these little inside fronty flappy things. I really, really like it. And this is apparently a dystopian novel. I don't know very, very much about it. I know one of my friends had to read this for summer homework and she didn't like it very much, so I'm just like, we can do it. One of my friends who has a blog owns an Instagram account where she not only does her bookish blog things, but she sells her books and trades books. So her name is Jennifer. She has a blog, an Instagram, and a YouTube, so I will link all three of those below. She is absolutely fantastic. So this month I asked her if she wanted to trade me for a book because I saw this and was like, need, and she said yes. So that book was Slated by Terry, which is a very unfortunate name. I love this cover so much. I don't even care that it has a girl's face on it. It's just lovely. This book is about how you can have your mind erased. It's obviously dystopian, where if you act up you can just get your whole memory wiped out. So I think this will be interesting. But then she also added in 2 extra books in this, and I was so surprised and excited, so thank you so much if you're watching this. Those books are The A Circuit and My Favorite Mistake by 2 authors, Georgia Bloomberg and Catherine Hapka. These are obviously horse books, but, so if you don't know, I own a horse. I ride the horse. I love horses, and I'm actually freaking stoked about this because when I was little, the only books I read were horse books, and That's why I'm like, haven't read Harry Potter, haven't read Percy Jackson. It didn't have horses in it, so I was like, no thanks. I've been looking for a good young adult slash more mature horse series because all the kid ones are like, will I make it over that jump? Oh no, I fell off and broke my arm. I love my pony, and I just wanted something more mature, and I think this will be it. So I'm really excited to read these. I've already read the first couple chapters of this one, which is the first one, and I'm gonna read these super quickly, just as like little guilty reads, and I can't wait. And the last book I got this month, my friend Will asked me to get a book signed for him that I went to the other week. Adi Al-Said, that's a hard name to say, Adi Al-Said. He was having a book signing, so I got my friend's book signed for him, and in the box that he sent me with his book, he included this book, Red Glove by Holly Black, which is the second book in the White Cat series, which I haven't read the first book of, but am really stoked to because I hear Holly Black is amazing, and that book just sounds all kinds of cool. And those are all the books I have! Time to play a game of Shall I Thumbnail or Will I Die? So now we're done, and that's it for September. Hopefully I will not buy any books in October. I'm not sure how many review books I'm going to be accepting either because I am so behind. Hopefully, I'm not going to be on an official book buying ban, but I'm going to try not to do anything naughty and just read more than I buy is the goal at this point. So thank you for watching this video, everybody. I will see you in my next haul video, wrap up something. Goodbye.